What up, everybody? This is Dario Hunt from Living Life Fearless. Welcome back to another episode of our Music Files podcast. Today's date is April 11th, 2019. With me, as always, is my co-host, Mr. Reese Walker. Say what up to everybody.
What up, everybody? It's D Walker here with another episode of the Music Files. Thanks for kicking it.
Yeah, so our last podcast, we actually did the Fearless show. So if you notice, our last podcast, we did the Music Files. So as you see, we skipped the Fearless show this time around to talk about some pertinent music headlines, particularly the whole Nipsey situation. We really have to kind of get into that, but we will get into that later into the show. And we're going to change things up a bit for this episode. There won't be any albums that we're going to talk about because we are going to go a bit longer on certain topics. So we will get to that next time. And before we actually get into things, though, I'm going to do some housekeeping. If you like any of the gear that I rock these videos, like this hat or Doris's beanie, not the shirt because that is a OG throwback.
Vintage, sorry. Ooh, fire. Sorry. Can't have that. But you can have this.
Yeah, so for everybody watching us, watching this podcast, you can head over to the store on our official site and grab some for yourself. And today, I just put up there a new Cultured AF t-shirt to go along with our coffee table book. And with every purchase of our coffee table book, you get 50% off of that shirt. So go check it out.
Yeah, jump on that deal.
Yeah. And if you have any questions, comments, topic suggestions about this show, past show, or any future shows, you can let us know in the comments wherever this goes up and wherever you guys enjoy listening or watching us. And you can also email us directly at podcast@livinglifefearless.co, and those comments and topic suggestions may come up in future shows. But that's it for housekeeping. We're going to hop right into it. We have a bunch of music news to kind of run through. Some of it we will kind of rapid fire through, and some we will touch on a bit more. So getting right into it. Prince is still out here suing people. What is this thing? So I don't know if you heard maybe 2 years ago, a sound engineer that he had been working with on some sort of project. He tried to release an unauthorized Prince EP after his death, like the 1 year anniversary, to mark his 1 year anniversary of Prince's death. It's called, I don't know if it had a name.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Deliverance EP, I think he tried to name it. So he somehow in his mind thought because he worked with Prince on it and kind of co-wrote stuff, co-produced stuff, that he could try to sell it on his own apart from the estate.
Yeah.
Of course, the estate sued him almost immediately. It went up, and he just lost his case, and he was ordered to pay them $3.96 million.
Oh. That's a big chunk of change, buddy.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Oof. Did anyone, but does that mean he can sell it still?
No. Here's the thing. I don't even know
recoup?
if he did sell it.
Can he recoup?
Came so quickly.
Dang. That's crazy.
So,
man.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he actually did end up selling any of that or not because they were on it pretty quickly because he had already kind of talked to them about it and they couldn't come to terms about financial stuff, split whatever. So then he decided to go on his own with an outside publisher and kind of do it. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking, but
I don't know, man. That's crazy. Was it all unreleased stuff though?
Yeah, all unreleased.
So that's interesting. That's crazy,
I'm
man.
not sure if it's something that he's working on just before he passed away or what, but it's all unreleased and it was all part of an EP. And
Prince has 1,000 unreleased songs.
I guess he's saying he went in and kind of finished things and mastered things and whatever, but I still think that you can use Prince's stuff without the estate. For sure couldn't do that when he was here, and you for sure can't do that while he's not here.
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. The estate needs to sue Justin Timberlake too for his tribute that he did at the Super Bowl. 'Cause that was trash. Sorry, JT. That was the Man in the Woods year. It was gross. Whatever he was doing. They need to sue Justin Timberlake. He said he had like the key to, like, I don't know. He said some weird shit about Prince. I'm mad at that. Brought up some dirt about Justin Timberlake. I was getting mad about Justin Timberlake and that guy. Those two I look at the same in regards to. They're just
I'm not sure why you would look at them the same.
Just look at Justin Timberlake's history with Prince, and you'll know.
Yeah. They got a weird history, weird relationship
Swears
there.
he like. I don't know. I don't know. That's all. Just a little disrespectful, man. You can't be. Don't put disrespect on Prince's name. You can't just do stuff without him or his estate's blessing, and definitely not without his estate, because that's his extension now. So you can't. How is he gonna sell some shit just because he worked on it? That's crazy. He should have known. Prince had to change his name to a symbol just to.
Well, he tried it.
What's this producer thing he's gonna do with some Prince vocals and try to get away with it? Yeah, that's crazy.
He tried it. He tried it. He definitely tried it, and it definitely backfired.
Well, better luck next time, buddy. Hopefully, you're getting residuals off all your past work that the Prince estate does have out.
Man. All right. So today is, tomorrow night and Friday, the official day of the record store day is on. The official date is April 13th for the record store day. And we have a news item on our official website about some of the releases that are coming out this year on that date. And apparently it's becoming an even bigger day than ever before, as there are supposed to be over like 550 either re-releases, special issues, or kind of just regular releases on this day specifically.
Today telling me like, yo, it's about to be like, you know, like, and like national like record day or some shit. He was like, yo, fam, like this is a record breaking year. You know how many things are being released? I was like, what? He was like, oh, I'm specifically excited about Sublime, but I gotta check out some other stuff. I was like, word.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've always thought it was a really cool thing. I've never personally kind of been involved with the day, but I think it is cool to see stuff kind of find new life and to see like the physical medium and just the whole act of going to
vinyl's
like
back.
an independent record store still kind of be celebrated because it is such like a cool thing, you know. Yeah, vinyl's definitely back. Thanks to a lot of the hipsters in Brooklyn. But I mean, it's cool. Like I said, I've never actually had the experience of going through like a record store to do like find and discover music. That's a cool thing to do, and it's a cool way to celebrate.
It's weird. I knew it was weird when I saw like
go celebrate.
Walked by some
weekend,
random
Friday
department store and they had vinyl. They had like Run the Jewels on vinyl and shit, like brand new like albums from like. I was like, oh shit.
Everybody pretty much has vinyl now because you make way more money on that than anything else.
Well, them shits are expensive, fam. Yeah, they're expensive. It's not like buying a CD. But worth it.
So some highlights that will be available are Angelo Badalamenti and David Lynch is Twin Peaks Season 2 Music and More. It's like a vinyl reissue. And it will include a 24-page collector's photo book. Elvis Costello and the Imposters coming with a new EP titled Purse. Includes songs Costello wrote with Paul McCartney, Bob Dylan, Johnny Cash, and Burt Bacharach. It's limited to 3,000 copies. James Brown's show is funky down here. Is being re-released. Prince's Versace Experience, originally from 1995, which is, I don't know if I guess it's being re-released. It was given out at the time of, I guess, one of the designers' collection shows in Paris, and a couple other things. So you should definitely head on the site and see the full news article. But for those of you that are hyped about Record Store Day, you guys have lots to look forward to this Friday. So for the next few, these are pulled straight from our site and from our writers who wrote a bunch of news pieces that were kind of hitting the airwaves. The Palace of Versailles is set to host its first. Did I say Versace? The Palace of Versailles is set to host its first ever rave. Yeah, Versailles. That's it.
The Palace of Versailles having their first ever rave. First ever rave. That shit's lit. It's already sold out, I'm sure.
I'm not sure.
Oh, that's great.
I'm not sure, but tickets actually aren't that expensive. I don't think it's actually going to be held directly inside
in the tent,
building, but I think in probably one of its gardens or halls or something. It's so fucking massive,
right?
That's
crazy.
And it will be
actually, a few friends posted about that too. I saw that on my timeline. Actually, Annalisa, one of the people we've interviewed in the Presents series, she had mentioned being interested. So it was pretty dope.
Yeah, so if you are in the area around June 8th, you can go have a rave in the Palace for the first time ever.
And you should probably go because they might shut it down if it's too good. So you might only get this.
I have a feeling it's going to be relatively tame. I'm not going to lie.
All things that are tame have pockets of debauchery.
The Met is opening a new exhibition dedicated to rock and roll's greatest instruments. In cooperation with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Met is organizing its first exhibition of rock and roll instruments titled Play It Loud, the Instruments of Rock and Roll, and it will open on April 8th. It will include instruments from guitars and pianos to drum kits, but also vintage costumes, posters, and concert footage from a whole host of very well-known rock stars.
Word. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll probably have to go up there. It's going to be up for a while, I'm sure. Have to make my way over there to the Met.
It looks like it. I mean, it really looks like they...
Yeah, I mean, the Met's always... Anytime they do one of these new things, like a few years ago, they just introduced like this whole fashion thing that they never had before. So, like, I'm sure this will be just as like much a big deal. Cause I've seen posters and stuff around town. You know, I've seen like shit everywhere. So I don't know. I'll check it out. Try to grab some photos if I can get up there.
Speaking of exhibitions, Bob Dylan is having his own art exhibition to open in Tulsa at the University of Tulsa's Gilcrease Museum, and it will be an exhibition of his artwork and handwritten song lyrics. And it will open on May 10th, and it'll be open until September 15th of this year.
That's really cool for fans and just art people.
So, yeah. If you're It's a
Yeah,
little
well, that
weird that's in
location
Oklahoma.
sounds specific.
But there's
Like,
the Bob
why?
Dylan Center that's opening there too. So
Uh,
yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know if he's from there. I don't know his connection to Oklahoma, but I know there is a ton of his stuff in that area, and they have like a whole Bob Dylan Center
huh,
being
crazy.
constructed there. I think opening next year.
Check it
So if
out.
you're in Oklahoma and you love Bob Dylan, go check that out. So reports say that the music business is doing extremely well. It made over $19 billion last year, and it is its highest point in 12 years since 2007, which was, I think it made 18.4 billion. Obviously, thanks in large part to streaming.
Okay. Streams. Streams. Damn, 12 years? That's crazy that it hasn't gone more than that since 12 years ago.
Well, I mean, as you know, music has always been kind of predicted to be a dying business, in that
Yeah.
thanks in large part to CD sales basically being non-existent, physical sales being non-existent, sales in general just being non-existent, that it would go away. And of course, record labels aren't going to let that happen. They pivoted and they found a way to
Mm.
get your money regardless and still not pay artists. And they do it even, and they pay artists even less now thanks to streaming subscriptions. So they
Yeah.
just pocket a fuckload of money now, so
Facts.
solo off that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, the deals that kids are getting in now. Because they realize, like, oh, I can just give them, if I can convince them to sign away their rights to all that they create that's attached to this brand by just giving them this one-time fee, oof, I'm gonna be making bread off of this new kid, like
I
that's what
mean,
a lot of
quite
it's
honestly,
crazy.
it's a genius business strategy because you don't really have to market individual artists as much as you had to back in the day, because it's all on one platform. And discovery is such a
Mm,
big kind of part of that you don't really have to do it nearly to the extent that they had to do it before. They had to spend millions of dollars to kind of launch an artist. And now,
yeah,
basically almost nothing,
yeah,
especially if
like
that artist kind of
streaming
had a buzz
platforms
before.
are deciding to break artists that are independent and shit. Like half of Denzel Curry's relevance comes from Spotify. I promise, because the way they
Or
posted him
SoundCloud.
or SoundCloud, but like out here in New York, they have billboards that you have to see in downtown. They have like the newcomers or like whatever they put one of the artists that they're promoting on the billboards. So like people are seeing their promotions and they're like, "Oh, who's that artist? I'm gonna check that out." So like,
Well, yeah, I mean, and because it's so simple that all you have to do is hit play now, you don't have to worry about going to a store and buying an album, or trying to find them on the radio or nothing like that.
yeah,
It's even more. It's even worse for artists than it has been before. Like, people are saying all
yeah,
those days are done, but the record labels have found a way to make things even better for themselves and even worse for artists, quite frankly.
yeah. Unless you're a giant artist and it's designed for you,
Yeah, and
like
that's
Drake.
all of less than 10 artists like that.
Yeah. Drake was announced as like the most streamed artist of all time on Apple.
So top 10 selling artists in the same order were Drake, BTS, Ed Sheeran, Post Malone, Eminem, Queen, Imagine Dragons, Ariana Grande, Lady Gaga, and Bruno Mars.
Mm.
And that's pretty much all streaming.
And that's pretty much mostly hip hop R&B influence. You're welcome.
I mean, you have Queen because of Bohemian Rhapsody,
Word.
but
I feel you on
yeah,
that. I mean,
pretty
Ariana
insane.
Grande is
The
pop
amount of money
R&B.
being made from streaming is crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Ed Sheeran, he gets in his R&B bag, his like, you know, it's nice. Hip hop is the highest stream. Well, what is it? It's the biggest music genre, basically
You
now.
could say that. I don't know the numbers, but it's hard to argue otherwise. It's definitely the most
Yeah.
influential.
Yeah, like there's some crazy stuff going on. Like even that I don't know if we were gonna talk about like Lil Nas
We are.
X.
I'm gonna get there in a second.
Word. So yeah, there's all kinds of crazy shit happening right now, man. Like the music business is crazy. And like what's wilder about it is like, that slow period of when like the music industry looked like it was dying was because the like brick and mortar music industry was dying except for like shows. If people
It
can
is
put
dead.
people's into venues, then it's good. So that's where people like Russ came from. That like weren't fucking really in the industry for a long time. And then, they're just like, well, I made 1 million without y'all. So, you're not gonna put me in a deal like that.
I mean, like I said, it's never been a better time to be a record label. You're especially a record label that owns any percentage of these streaming services because you're
Yeah.
just
Don't sign
pocketing money hand over fist
young
and
artists.
on a
Don't sign.
guaranteed monthly basis. Like you don't have to worry about having a ton of misses because if you're getting a percentage of streaming, you're gonna have that every month just off of subscription payments. So
Facts.
it's a hell of a business platform, business strategy for them. They
Yeah,
figured it
man.
out. They found a way to reverse their fortunes in a big way.
Yeah, you make a playlist on my platform that you basically rent your playlist for the rest of your life. You're renting the playlist that you make for yourself.
Exactly.
That's crazy though. Like Spotify is the biggest hustle of all time. That's crazy. But and they were mad at Napster, man. Bring Napster back. No, I'm just kidding. Napster's dead, but they shouldn't have did him like
Crazy. So I'm gonna skip this last one. We're just gonna go right into what you kind of alluded to and how the how hip hop is basically influencing everything and basically how Billboard is completely fucking out of touch with everything. And that brings me, of course, to Lil Nas X Old Town Road.
that. Nas X. Old Town Road. Are y'all familiar with this song?
So
If you're
I think
not,
we
look it
kind of
up.
talked about this a little bit earlier, how
We did
particularly
mention
in
it.
rap, there's this whole wave of like basically meme rap and like comedy raps that have turned into big hits for people that I don't think necessarily were aiming for them to be. And
Yeah,
this 1,000% was something he kind of just made for fun, and
yeah.
it just fucking blew up.
It blew up like fire. And it's crazy. At first, I was just gonna disregard it, to be honest, until the remix.
I did
The
disregard it. I was like, oh,
remix.
okay, it's not bad. I was like, it's not terrible. It's definitely a. I was like, I'm for sure not supposed to be taking this seriously. So
Yeah.
okay, whatever, whatever. But
Right.
then, of course, Billboard made it into something by removing it from country charts.
Yeah.
That made it even bigger than it was before.
Right.
Like I
Everybody
said, it
had
was
to
going
listen
to
to what this song was. What's this country song? It's not a country song, So like streaming.
through the roof. And then, of course, in a genius move, he remixed it with Billy Ray Cyrus, who actually
Mister, my
dropped
achy
a pretty
breaky heart,
fire
y'all.
goddamn guest feature.
Fam, that when I tell you the remix is lit, I was kind of mad because I was like, I like this song now. I might have to put this in my playlist. This might have to be in the rotation. Billy Ray killed it, fam. Like I was like, Billy Ray's coming back with the heat. He killed that shit.
Killed it, and now that song is atop of the Billboard Hot 100. It is number one, and it is the only. And if they consider this a country song again, which they should, because Billy Ray Cyrus is on there now,
Yeah,
it is only the
yeah.
third country song in 30 years to make it to number one. and it needed hip hop to do that.
Ooh. So now he's looking at him like, so y'all want a number one or not? Like, that's so wrong. Like, oh, y'all kick me off? I'm gonna make it go number one with a country with one of y'all people. Then, like, what's up? That's tight. That's crazy though.
I still don't think it's technically on the country charts, but it doesn't fucking matter because
Yeah,
it's number one on all the charts.
yeah. I, what I was taking from it, I was like, this is a southern record. I wasn't thinking country. I was thinking southern because I was like, this is trap and country, which come from the south. So I was just thinking this is a southern record. So they should have like a southern. I don't know. It just sounded like of the south. Know what I mean? With a twist.
I don't know. I mean, for me, it's
If
country
they
enough
took
for
out
it
the
to be
bass, if there was no 808s
like,
on it, it would be 100% country.
but all genres have, their own spin-offs, their own subgenres. Like, how are you gonna say this can't be in the same genre when hip hop has so many hip hop, pop, and all these have their own subgenres that are so different than what's considered like traditional, but they're all still in that same. They still group them all in that same genre and category. So just because it is more modern and like has some trap elements, which newsflash, every fucking major song has trap elements now,
For real.
doesn't
Like, I
make it
swear Blake
not
Shelton
a
just
country
did some
song,
trap shit. Like,
particularly when country in general nowadays, and you can tell me if I'm wrong because I'm not like super big in country, but every major country song I hear nowadays is super pop. So it's like that's
yeah.
country. Like what? Like how are we defining this now?
Yeah. Yeah. Like they were crossing the line like when they're trying to cross over but keep it country but with the crossover, like that'll go number 1 on the country charts. But
What's the
but
difference? Just
what's the
because it's
difference?
hip hop crossover instead of
Yeah.
pop
Aren't
crossover?
you
Like
mad
I
at
don't.
the elements? Aren't you mad at the elements they added that, aren't traditional country elements in those cases? you know. I think what they I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. It's weird.
So Billboard has released a statement, and they said they may consider reinstating Old Town Road to the country charts. Determining which chart a song lives on is an ongoing process, depends on a number of factors, most notably the song's musical composition, but also how the song is marketed and promoted, the musical history of the artist, airplay the song receives, and how the song is platformed on streaming services.
But see, they
Basically,
might
they're
treat the
saying we
remix
have
as a
no fucking
separate
idea.
thing.
Basically, what they're saying is we have no fucking idea how to classify songs these days because everything is a
This is
crossover. Everything.
making it. Yeah, everything's a crossover. Yeah, facts. 100%. Like, what is Ariana Grande's last album?
Is it R&B? Is it pop? Is it what? Like what is it, bro?
Yeah, I'm confused. What's James Blake's last album? Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are these single genre talk? Like I don't get it.
So
Lady
I mean,
Gaga's last album was a country album, and I don't think they were giving her love on the country charts like that.
so I guess that brings me to a question that I just now thought of, didn't really think about before. Is there even a need for genre-specific charts anymore?
Mm. I mean, see, that's the question.
Outside of the fact of giving certain artists from certain genres some sort of like bragging rights and like acclaim because they're number one in that specific field, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard now because
But for Billboard, I
basically
don't really
there's so much
see.
history. Country has their own Hall of Fame, like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like they have their own award show, so they're not gonna
Okay,
they're not
yeah,
gonna
rock and roll.
not
Rock and
keep
roll
their
also
tradition.
has a ton of rappers in there now and
Yeah,
R&B singers. So
but
what
country
are we talking
wants to
about
be
here?
specific. Country wants to stay country. They don't want to be.
Then
They
country
think
should get
that's
their own Billboard.
that's interesting. I mean,
But from Billboard's perspective, what's the point of having genre specific charts anymore? Because
that's a great question. Cause like,
it's
why?
basically
Who's
impossible
streaming what? Like, who's streaming what? What's the top
to
100
define.
of who's streaming what? Period. Like, like
And I think people these days, most people listen to pretty much everything. It's not like too many people that only listen to one specific genre these days because
hmm
everything is so available that I don't, I just don't see the purpose of it anymore, particularly from Billboard's perspective, outside of having more content to talk about.
yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. That's interesting. I don't know if that's because like the Billboard Awards is coming up too. I don't know how their awards works. Like, do they have? Because I don't even remember looking into them that much. Like, do they have like a country award or do they
I
even have
never
like?
watch, so I literally don't know, but I'm sure they do.
Yeah, I don't know. Because that's interesting. I wonder. I'm gonna have to look into that with their awards show and see how they
But
play
you don't have to base
country.
an award show off of charts, right?
I mean, it's the Billboard Awards. What else would they base it off?
They're not handing out awards on who was charted the longest or who charted number one. It's supposed to be who best, right?
I mean, they're handing out plaques.
For who's
So
best. It's like the Grammys. Like you're not basing it off of who sold the most,
I
typically,
guess I don't
or
know.
or ideally.
I mean, if you did, wouldn't you be mad if you lost? You'd be like, yo, I was the number one streaming artist, but you gave the
I
shit to
mean,
them.
what the fuck does that mean? Travis Scott lost,
But in the Billboard Awards?
and I'm talking about Grammys, just awards in general.
Oh, no, the Billboard's different than the Grammys. It doesn't have the same prestige.
Agreed, but I'm pretty sure the way they run their award show is almost the exact same. They run their rules are probably almost the exact same as Grammys.
Let's see. That's interesting. I wonder if fans can vote. I wonder if they got like people choice shit,
All right,
like
but we're getting.
MTV and
I
stuff.
don't care about the awards. I don't care about the awards. That's not what I
Anyways,
was
yeah.
asking. I was asking specifically about the charts.
Hip hop and country. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think it makes other genres feel more special. Being specific.
Feel relevant.
Feel relevant. But yeah. I guess for people who are specifically not trying to look outside of what they like, it's
Which
easier to find
is
what's
very
new
few
and
people.
hot that way. I mean, yeah, but they're catering to a niche, I suppose now. It may not have been a niche before, but it's a niche now.
I'm just saying, they clearly have no fucking idea how to define anything, or really, you know, don't have like a grasp on what is what. So I just don't really see the point.
I mean, this whole little Nas X thing makes them look like fucking idiots. Like that's all I really have to say. It's like you look stupid. Y'all look crazy. All you had to do was put Billy Ray Cyrus on it for you to like swallow your tongue and look confused. Like
Oh, they really have. When he put it was fucking genius to get an artist like that on there.
hell yeah,
Genius.
fucking and quick too. Like he didn't like he
Oh,
got
I
him.
mean, Billy Ray Cyrus saw, damn, I get number one hit easy off this. Facts. It was already buzzing like crazy, so it's not that hard to get somebody on there.
Hell yeah. And Billy Ray said Fendi. Like he was in touch with like the shit that's out now. I was like, what? I was like, Billy Ray knows about Fendi? What the fuck? Like I was like, who wrote this
I mean,
for Billy Ray? That's what
you
I
see
was
his
thinking.
daughter. Come on. All I'm saying is another thing. How is his feature on a hip hop infused song better than all of his daughter's shit put together?
Fam, I was confused. I was like, he's killing Miley. Like Miley's never done anything on the hip hop side like this good. Like I've never,
Like she
like
tried
she's
so
done.
hard for like so many years
Man,
to put out some shit
it's
on hip
crazy.
hop side, and in one song he shitted on her entire crossover
everything.
attempts.
It was crazy. It was just like, oh, that's Miley's dad. He's dadding her right now. He's showing her what's up. Like, like it was crazy. I was like, damn, Billy Ray has bars. I was like, what is this right now? Like, he was OG swaggy on that beat, and
That shit made me like the song even more. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, God damn, he fucking spazzed on this
I'm
shit.
telling you, I want to listen to it again. Like, that's actually how much Billy Ray did for it. And I was mad. I was like,
I
do
dead
I
ass.
really like it?
I
Like,
dead
damn,
ass
this is
skip
kinda
Lil
good.
Nas X. I dead ass skip Lil Nas X and just listen to this verse.
A word. I'm gonna have to listen to something else
I'm
to
not a
see
fan.
if I
Like
actually
honestly,
get
I'm
into
not a fan of Nas X. Like he is a meme rapper, and he put out a meme rap song that just happened to
it.
go viral. So
Yeah,
I still don't really consider him like seriously.
it's hard out here for meme rappers.
He just
It's real hard.
outshined big time. So
Yeah,
it's smart, but it's also not the smartest at the same time because they're not really talking about you specifically anymore.
right.
You know, so
That's
I
true.
mean, I have a hard time
But you
seeing
got
him
another
coming
one.
back with anything significant after this one. But for this song, smash.
Yeah, it's true. No,
But
it's
you
good.
guys let us know in the comments what you guys think about this whole Billboard situation and kind of genre charts and trying to define what is what. And yeah, just let us know. You know my thoughts. So I had no idea that Coachella was this weekend.
Oh yeah.
I just happened to look on Instagram and of course see all the Coachella posts from from a bunch of trendy tryhard people.
Yeah. All I know is Solange wasn't performing. That's the only thing I've
I don't
heard.
know the lineup
Neither do I.
at all.
I just know that she wasn't on it. That's all. For some reason, that's all I know. Coachella's weird. It got too popular, fam.
So it brought me to another. I mean, it brought me to another question: Is Coachella still, you know, relevant? Is it still important
I think it's
to
getting more commercial.
like the culture, to music culture?
That's a good question. I think it is, but it isn't. It's weird. I think it's like, I think it's becoming the staple festival, like American music festival.
It
Like
is
every
for
year.
sure. No, it is. It has been for a while.
So like I think it's yeah. Well, I think Bonnaroo and Coachella were close in
Mm,
probably the early 2000s, like oh 05, like oh 07 to mm, like maybe 2010. But Coachella just kept picking up more steam because it was in Cali. Everybody wants to go to Cali more than they want to go to LA.
well, back then, Coachella was super important to the culture. It was big on breaking new artists and showing new artists and
Yeah,
celebrating, the music and whatnot. But I feel like nowadays it's almost everything but the music.
right. It's weird. It's very weird. I have a weird feeling about it in terms of how I would like. It used to be something really people would look forward to the performances and actually being there. But I think it's part of the like social media age that we're in, where like people are
It's
just
all about the social media age, 1,000%.
like
People have, I
nobody
mean, it's
really
smart for
cares
them to
about
really kind of,
yeah, like you were saying, like but yeah, nobody really cares to like experience the shit. They just like want to say they were there, like take the pictures, get the
they need their
snaps again
Coachella
with the person.
outfits ready for Coachella, get the Coachella fit, like shit like that. You punch
Yeah,
websites selling Coachella clothing, stuff like this,
right.
like it's definitely about the social media age, and I mean they're smart to tap into that because it's
Hmm.
like is making a ton of sales for them. But it's like, all right, you are far from which I mean, most good things as time goes on and as
Yeah.
exposure to it becomes more, and money comes in more. They've gotten far away from like I feel like what their original purpose and core identity was, which was music and discovering music and enjoying that whole process of discovering music with other people. And
Hmm.
it was, I remember when it was first done, it was specifically tailored towards a basically unknown smaller
Yeah.
artist. And then I remember when it was such a big hoopla when it was like, oh, you're inviting all these big name artists now,
Yeah,
like
when it was like three big names on it, it was a
people
big
were
deal.
like having a fucking like, it was two camps, like, oh, this is great, or it was like, you're
That's
killing,
where
you're destroying
festivals
what it
got
was.
weird because festivals used to only be like three big like names to headline, and then
Yeah.
everybody would be a small name. Like it wouldn't be like
Yes.
all big names. It would be like three big bolds, and then the whole page is like small names of like bands and artists and shit. Like now it's like everyone's got to be in bold and shit, like the same size because we're
It's
all
all big
big.
acts
Like
now.
it's weird. Like you can't even get excited because like sometimes like the lineup is crazy. Like how are you supposed to even like I don't even know. Like this shit is crazy.
Like, don't
And there
get me
are some
wrong, it's
small
cool
artists
that
in there.
Beyonce did it.
Insanum.
It's cool that all these big artists did it. But it's like these are artists that
Yeah.
most people have already gone to see in like concert and shit. So it's like,
Yeah.
all right, now you're just, I don't know. For me, it's
I mean, cause I feel like it does a disservice to some of the other artists, cause like those artists are gonna have some shit going that's like gonna make everybody else's performances look crazy. Cause they
yeah,
might
your
have,
other
like
people's unknown acts will never be talked about now. 1,000%.
yeah, cause this shit is gonna look whack now. Like, oh, you guys didn't have the fucking dancers doing the pyro and shooting shirts out at us. 'Cause we got free shit when Beyonce hit. Like, like it was
Case in
lit.
point,
Like,
Beyonce is Case in point, Beyonce is working, I believe, with Netflix or HBO. I can't remember. Somebody tell me in the comments. Is working with them to create a documentary specifically about her 2018 Coachella set.
oh my god, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Case in point.
Damn. Yeah, I mean,
I mean, for me personally, I don't think it's important to the music culture anymore. Like, it just feels like another
it
cog in the
seems like
machine.
everybody's
You know,
playing. Well, I think it's becoming irrelevant because there's a trend with these big name artists making their own festivals for things. Like the Dreamville Festival, like the
mm-hmm.
Rock Nation like everybody's having festivals like of their own and grabbing artists and doing their own
Right?
shit and that's becoming what the old shit was like it's becoming cooler to do that now. So I think if more
I
artists
mean,
are doing that,
a there's a ridiculous amount of festivals, but obviously Coachella is still like
yeah,
the name brand value of it. Is still I think greater than most other festivals because it's kind of earned that over the years.
yeah,
But in terms of bringing something to the industry, to the culture, I don't think it does it anymore. I just don't. I just think it's super industry now, basically.
yeah, yeah. I think it just
It's a
provides
machine. It's
moments
like it's
though
a
for the
machine for the
culture.
industry now.
Well, it's like pop summer jam. It's like pop. It's like summer jam for the pop nation, like for everybody.
Summer Jam will bring out young artists. Summer Jam will bring out young acts. Still,
Mm, yeah, if they're kinda.
that's up and
Summer jam will
coming.
bring out up and coming that Ebro likes.
But Summer Jam's a show. This is a festival. It's a little different. This is supposed to be a
Yeah,
music
well, summer
festival.
jam's
And
weird.
when your smallest print name is somebody who's pretty fucking well known, it's kind of like, all right, well, it's a far cry from what I remember how it started out as like
Yeah,
this
there's just way too
cool
many names. I can't believe all these people are playing on the same day.
because it's a great once they saw what it can do for a big name artist kind of exposure and like not career but exposure wise, especially if you have like an album coming out or anytime soon, that then all the big name artists started volunteering to basically be a part of it. Because before you couldn't get a big name to do festivals. They're like, do a festival, share it with them.
Right.
But these many artists, like fuck no. Like, but once they saw what it can do for them, now they're all running towards it, and that just pushes out all the smaller, more niche artists that you kind of you know Coachella built their basically whole culture and like image about.
Billie Eilish is getting the bag. She's doing multiple days.
All right, industry definitely paid him. Hey, we need this spot. She's big name artist. She's big. She's new. Like this is
Oh yeah.
come on, bro. Like
That's
it's
so
just
that's
another
what
tool
they're
for the industry at
doing.
this
I
point.
see it because now that I'm looking at the days, I'm seeing the biggest names having either multiple days headlined or yeah, like her, Kanye, Ariana Grande, Khalid, YG, Playboy Cardi, like Pusha T. And this is just one day. This is like the last day, I think, which is always the popping day. But like 070 Shake, and then there's like a bunch of names I've never heard of in here mixed in. But I don't know how well they're gonna do with those other names playing around and shit. That's crazy.
For me, it's become like a characterization of itself. It basically become like its own running joke. You know, how people joke about music festivals, how like pretentious and fucking hipster they've become and stuff like that. Like it's like the cool thing to do
Yeah,
now for people that don't know shit about music or
yeah,
really care about music, just kind of to be seen. And for social
yep.
media posts and likes and shit, that's basically what it's fully become. And it's like it's
It
frustrating
might
to
meet its
see.
end because of that. It might meet its end because of that. They might
Oh, it'll
stop
lose
it.
its coolness. I think it's already starting to lose like its coolness factor. Like I don't see nearly as
Yeah,
many people like hyped about buying tickets for Coachella as when it was kind of back in its heyday because it's
yeah.
gonna be just move on to the next festival because it's gonna lose all its cool kind of equity that it had built up
I feel like that's what
before
happened
it
to Warp
put big
Tour.
names in.
Warp Tour was kind of like that, and then that died.
I mean, I guess we always have South by Southwest, but other
South
than
by's
that,
getting
like,
weird, fam. South by is getting. We've got like maybe 5 more years before it gets commercial as fuck.
yeah, well, I don't know because Austin, it's a little different out there. They
I
like to keep their
know,
shit a
but
little weird,
the
bro.
artists are going. The artists are gonna make it cool.
It's
Like not
just
just like the musical artists, but like visual artists are like doing things in conjunction more frequently. Like I've been seeing it. It's a trend. So like the years coming, they're gonna get bigger budgets to do better things. So then more things are gonna happen
I
around
mean, it's
South by.
good. It's good because it gets bigger and it gets more exposure or whatever. But then at the same time, it kind of fucking kills what was cool about it. It's
Yeah.
always the dilemma because it's the same thing that's happening with like Burning Man. Burning Man is no longer Burning Man what it's historically
Oh
and
yeah.
legendarily been known as because once you have like
Facts.
Victoria's Secret models out there posting 1,000 pictures from Burning Man, just posing and shit, like,
Yeah.
all right, brother, what the
That's
fuck
not
are we doing
real.
now? Like, what
That's
are we
not
doing now?
real.
Like, this
Yeah,
is
real people
just
from Burning Man went there with nothing and hung out with a bunch of people they never met and
right.
shared the food and the water for like a couple like these niggas were really just like surviving together. That's what Burning Man was about. Not just
I don't know.
so
I
like
just
yeah.
hate to see something so fucking cool and kind of pure lose itself like that just because of the
Yeah.
corporate, commercialization of it. And I feel like that's exactly what happened to Coachella. And like now that I see or hear Coachella, I'm just like, oh, like fuck no.
Mm, yeah. I used to want to go, but like now I'm like I'm cool. I'm cool.
I'm good. there's a live stream of everything if you really wanted to watch some of these performances. Like it's just like
Yeah.
just like no
Except for
real
certain
need.
artists who say no recording because some of them like to hide stuff for their tour. They'll do like a tour type shit and they want to hide it so everybody doesn't know what they're going to get already.
Yeah.
That's the only time it usually doesn't stream. Just FYI. For peeps. Eminem did it last year. I remember that specifically. I was like, oh, I couldn't see Eminem's set. So I was actually going to look. For some reason, I don't know why I was going to look, but for some reason I wanted to see it. And like, he didn't allow recording.
I don't know. It just
Because they do live streams. There's actually a live stream.
I know
They're televising a live stream. Like, it's now that's cool. Like, all this social media shit is crazy. Like, they got a
it
host for the live
sucks.
stream.
It sucks.
That's
No, it sucks. It
cool.
sucks.
They got a host. They got hosting for
It
shit.
sucks now. It
That's
oh
crazy.
God. It's disappointing.
When did Coachella get a live stream? That sounds weird as fuck. Like, it
It's
sounds
disappointing.
great,
But
but it
I mean,
sounds weird. Like, it's cool but bad at the same time. Like, I don't know.
terrible.
I don't know.
But you guys let us know. What did you guys think about, this whole Coachella thing? Do you think it's still important to, the culture and music culture? And do you think it's kind of lost, some of its like equity because of its over commercialization and, the corporate involvement? Like most things, when they become bigger than itself. Let us know in the comments wherever this goes up. So we talked about pretty much everything except the elephant in the room. Um,
I was feeling good, man.
we have to talk
Almost
about it.
forgot.
We haven't talked about it when it happened.
Almost forgot.
Today was his memorial, Nipsey Hussle, and it was in the Lakers stadium, arena, Staples Center, and
Staples Center.
I want to say over 20,000 people came out to show love.
Yeah.
And that alone is fucking amazing. But I don't really want to get into the whole incident too much because I think most people kind of know what went down. I just want to know, like, what was your kind of first reaction?
Oh man. Well, my first reaction, I was at home, I was chilling, and I don't know what I was about to do. I was just like on my computer or something, and then my fiance Sarah was like, "You know that rapper Nipsey Hussle?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "He died." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Nah." I was like, "Nah, not Nipsey." I was like, "What do you mean he got shot somewhere?" Like, I was like, "Wait, hold up, what?" I started looking like, "Wait, what?" Like, I was like, "Wait, what?" Like, it started to like sink in for real because it felt like a joke, like some meme floating around and like some bullshit. Like, it didn't sound possible for real. Like, for some reason, I was just like, that's not real. Like, it could have been anybody else in the game probably, and I wouldn't have thought that. But like, when that came, I was just taken back, and I was just sad. Like, I just was so sad right then after that. Like, because then I thought about like his kid and his girl. I just thought about the Grammys and like how well Victory Lap did, and like I was just like he was about to like, oh man, it was just so upsetting just to see that potential. Like, he did so much already, which is crazy, but then to see like the blueprints for what he was about to do, and then he couldn't do it, and I was just mad at that. I was more mad at like, like that was a guy that was like really taking the steps to better himself and people around him. So like, I was just sad to like hear it happen to a guy like that.
Yeah, like you, when I first heard it, I didn't fucking believe it. Like somebody texted me, "Yo, Nip got shot 5 times." Like Nip, she also got shot. Like, nah, man, quit fucking with me. Like, nah, he really got shot. Like, like you, I'm looking everywhere, looking news, trying to see whatever, what's up.
Yeah, I was like, how?
I'm like, damn,
Like how?
like nah, that can't be right. Like,
Right?
then I'm like, man, he gonna be right. You know what I'm saying? He gonna pull through that shit. Like, and then like an hour later, if she also dead, like, bruh, like disbelief, utter like disbelief. Like, even to this point, like I don't, it doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
Like, can't believe out of all people, Nipsey Hussle got taken away. Like this one was tough, bro. Like honestly, this one's tough. Like I, I haven't really
I was
watched
sad. We talk
a
about
lot of
him
the
like
articles and the videos and the news stuff and like he had his memorial and they had some clips of it. I've seen a couple clips, but I didn't want to watch it. Like I just can't. Still, like that shit just
I watched
feels
the one of his of Lauren
unfucking
London.
real.
She had like the most beautiful speech and like words of encouragement. She was so strong up there and shit. But she like ended with a quote like from
Unreal.
Nipsey, and it was crazy. Nipsey's mom said some amazing, like yeah. It was just to like see his mom. You knew like, oh wow, like like what she said was like, oh, you could see how Nipsey was so smart. Like that was his mom said something like that. Like like it was just crazy. All this shit like. And then across the nation, I've been seeing like the candlelight vigils. There's like in Detroit, Texas, like all across the country, people are like gathering together and stuff and like showing their support in groups and it's
I mean,
crazy.
like, bro, like I was about to say, like I'm saying, like, not Nip, bro, like not him, like, not this guy. Like, it was utter disbelief, and then like once get all the conspiracy bullshit out the way, and then all this other stuff, and like I kind of already knew what was gonna be the story because he was in his own old neighborhood. It's like almost always the same fucking story, and like then I just the disbelief
Mhm.
basically turned to like just utter fucking disgust.
Yeah.
Like yo, like y'all not tired of this shit? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
It literally
super
just
super
keeps
tired
happening.
of like just stories, bro. Like over and over and over, like the same bullshit, bro. Like and it's always like people that's like trying to do some shit, like and then to have to be him and in his own neighborhood where he bought all the businesses, like he owned that whole
Yeah, in
shopping
front of his
shopping
store,
market
in front of Marathon.
where
The
he gave back, like he gave everything. Like this guy, like this is the guy. Like for y'all don't know, this is the guy, bro. Like a lot of people, a lot of fans try to be like, "Oh, these rappers aren't real. These musicians ain't real. They'll never come back. They'll never get back. Once they get theirs, they gone. Like they not real people. They not real stand up. They don't stand by what they say. Like this was the guy, bro. Like he did everything that people wanted their artists and celebrities and successful people to be and do that come from them
hmm
areas. That was him, bro. Like he did everything. Like he stood by everything he said. He never left. Like I mean, he obviously didn't live there, but he was always there. He gave back. Like he came back, invested in that area. Like he did so much for that whole area, his
Yeah.
home, and he was always real about it. And like wasn't no faking. Like everything he said he was about to do, like he did it. And then this is the guy y'all killed, bro. Like
Yeah, like I think he
I was
like
just
helped build
fucking
schools. Like
disgusted, bro. Like I was
he made
disgusted.
sure everyone he he didn't just like fully own the businesses. He partnered with people so they would own their business.
He
Like
hired convicts in all of his businesses because he knew they couldn't get jobs, bro. Like,
facts.
this guy did everything we fucking say we want our artists, our celebrities to do, and this is the fucking guy we killed, bro. Like, I was fucking disgusted, bro. Like, I'm just tired of this shit, bro. Like, something got changed. Like, honestly, something has to change. Like, if nothing changes after this, like, we just on some bullshit at this point because you won't find a better person to represent
with this,
everything
this
we
Nipsey
want,
Hussle.
bro.
Shit is crazy. It's just ridiculous.
Like, this one hit me deep, bro.
Like, the more I think about it, the harder it is to, like, still, like, it doesn't make sense. It's nothing, it's crazy. It's crazy. Cause he's, like, the realest dude, like, I saw people's reactions. Like, I don't know why people were reacting, like celebs and stuff, but like some people, you know, had to post just to like, you know, show that they were mourning and stuff. And like the game was like driving down the street like at like 3 a.m. saying like he couldn't go to sleep. He's like, I'm driving down Slauson, man, like, this is just fucked up. Like he was like crying and shit, like, but like not on his face, just like on the street and shit. Like he was just like, I'm fucking just driving around, fucking what the fuck. Like, this is what we do. Like, you know, like, it was crazy. Like, so you got rappers like The Game, you know, in tears. Because that's his homie in his hood, you know, like, in that area. Like, they were out there building things. Like, oh, what we need to talk... So, this is another thing. Nipsey Hussle, like, the gangs... Like, when we talk about gang violence, like Bloods Against Crips, Nipsey Hussle, like, united the gangs. Like, there's the same... So... Yesterday, I think, or no, a couple days ago, they had a gang member march, and it was literally all the Bloods and all the Crips marching together for Nipsey Hussle. There was no coverage of that, but like that never happened, and that's something Nipsey Hussle, like his life created, was like a kinship for opposing sides in the streets to connect with.
Bro, he did a lot, man. He did too much to even like really talk about and discuss in this one podcast. It's just like you really just had to research what this guy stood for and like what he did and like everything he backed up. You know, all the words he said and gave in songs that he fucking went and actually backed up. Like, man, this will hurt, bro. Like, I'm not gonna act like I was the biggest Nipsey Hussle fan where I listen to his music every single day, but I mean, you know me. Like, I've listened to him since Bulls Ain't Got No Name Volume 1. Like, I've been on him since basically the beginning. Like, I was like, oh, this dude's different, bro. He's thinking different. He's talking different. Like, like he motivate. Like, he's inspirational with all his words and like the things that he's saying. Like, he's always trying to give game back in.
He sold one of his mixtapes like a art object. Like, this is art. Like, he sold it for $100, like a copy one time, like as a project.
He sold 1,000 copies of, I want to say Crenshaw for $100 each, and then he did 100 copies, $1,000 each of Mailbox Money.
Yeah.
And, bro, like, and we just talked about like how happy we were. Even though it wasn't our album of the year, how happy we were that he even got nominated for Grammys because he's been at this and he's been putting out.
I mean,
fire.
we were
like,
torn.
He's been consistent, like
we talked about him for a while because we really wanted like to put him in that too.
Like I said, like I might not slap this shit every day, but I've been on all his stuff, like, and I always knew, like, always out of all the artists, he was always one of them that stood out to me as like one of the realest ones out there. And that's why I was so happy when he got that nomination, because I was like, man, like, he about to take off. Like, people, he got national attention now. Like, he's really about to take off with everything he's doing. He's really doing something special. Yeah. And like, and then to have this happen, bro, like this one, bro, like everybody I know I talked to was just utter disbelief whether they really listened to him, whether they really knew what he was about. Like, just you can just kind of feel that energy from him, and it was just like, man, not this one, bro. Like, you shouldn't have to die to like have people really listen to what you were saying and like to really take inspiration from what you were trying to give and like really try to change and be better. Like, it's fucking disappointing, bro. Like,
It's crazy. And back to like we're talking about that streaming shit earlier. Stream Nipsey shit. He owned his masters. He owns all his shit. Like, that's another
facts.
thing. Like, he was. Oh, this shit is so like.
Bro, he was so far ahead of
I'm
everybody
so
else, bro.
mad.
Like,
I'm like getting upset, dog. Nipsey was. Man,
he was so far ahead of everybody else.
it's crazy.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy. What he was about to do in the game was gonna.
Like, he just got it. Like, he just got it, bro. Like, just it. Like, it.
Like, it's hard to think, because like we've been fans for years, and like we were talking about all these old projects and mixtapes, but like it always took me back to think that Victory Lap was like his debut album to like the world of like mainstream, and I was like, oh shit, that's their first impression of him. That's great. That blew my mind for a second, like to think about that, like for some people that was their first impression of Nipsey. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. That he could be grinding for so long, get millions of fans, and then put out a first album. Like, that's sick. I feel like
did
that's
it his
kind of
way.
what Chance
No
is doing.
label. Own all his
Chance.
shit.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro. Like,
Building
not
up the community came from. Like,
did everything we say and we want our celebrities, our artists, our people that make it out to do, and he did it, bro. And he did it to a T, and he backed up everything he fucking said, bro. Like, and it happens to him. Like, that shit is beyond frustrating. That shit is beyond disgusting, and that shit hurt me, bro. Like, this one really hurt me. Like, I feel like this was such a huge loss for what, you know, our community outside of just music was on a level that I can't even really put it on to like anybody I know like recently. Like, this is just this one was different, bro.
yeah. Nah, I was trying to think of like that hit. I don't know. Like, the last time I felt like this was Mac, but he wasn't murdered. You know, like, it was
It's
just,
different.
and it's different,
We ain't have
and it
somebody
wasn't
come
as,
take him.
and it wasn't as crazy. Like, nobody's really, because like there's so many different levels that are hitting me with Nipsey that it's like it's overwhelming, because it's just so many things that like I saw in that guy that like every time I would listen to him, I was like, it was all confidence boosting. You know, like his music always gave me confidence. Like, it's just crazy. Um,
Sucks, man. It sucks, but at the same time, to see at least in the immediate future, like the now, to see people that he was trying to reach actually like trying to change, like trying to take heed of what he was saying, and like to try to do better, and like to see all the love that he was getting. Like, over 20,000 people in LA came down. Like, he shut down LA
oh yeah, not only that,
for his
tickets
memorial.
sold
Like,
out.
they shut it down, bro. Like,
Yeah,
the whole city came out to support him, and like to see that type of like love and respect he was getting from everybody is like a sign of like what he was, and like everything he was doing was the right thing. Like, so on that side, it is beautiful to see that. But man, like, we shouldn't have to lose somebody like this to want to do these things and to want to do better. Like, that shit's frustrating, bro.
yeah. I mean, rest in power, Nipsey.
I mean, it kind of just brings me to like the age old argument. Like, when you get to that level and when you're trying to do stuff on the level that he was trying to do, like, should you keep going back to the neighborhood? Should you stay around the neighborhood?
Well, that's the problem, man. It's like
Because
too
people don't
comfortable.
die like Boozy said. You get big, you get famous, you get rich. You're not dying in another country. You're not dying in another city. You dying. You dying. People get killed in their neighborhoods. People get killed in their own neighborhoods that they came from.
Yeah.
And this is example number 1,000. Like,
Yeah. Facts.
and I mean, for me personally, I think you get to that level and you trying to do stuff on a whole nother level, like he was trying to do something bigger than just even himself.
Hmm.
I, you got to stay out the way a bit, man. Like, you can always help out. Like, you had people that help out. Like, you had people in charge. You had your people taking care of other people in the neighborhood. You had your money taking care of other people in the neighborhood. Like, you were investing in that neighborhood. You were still, people knew what you were doing. Like, you don't have to be in the middle of all that on the daily. You don't need to be hanging out in the parking lot just kicking it. Like, you don't have to be in that. Even though I know you from that, it's different, bro. You different. People look at you different. You're a target no matter how you want to look at it. Jealousy and hate are gonna be there on another level. And for me, I don't think that you need to be in the mix like that on the regular to do good and to help out and to be a part of your community still. Because what he was doing was bigger than even himself.
Much bigger. Much bigger. That's the man that was dropping jewels. If you watch any interview he's done, just watch how he holds himself. Like, watch. He's just.
He a real one.
He's a real dude. Like, yeah. It just sucks when you see a real dude. Like, a stand up guy. You know? He's not.
Everything we want from our people, bro. That was him. And we took him, bro. Like, bro, if this shit don't make people do better or want to do better, like, bro, I don't know. I don't know, bro.
Yeah. This shit is. It's just upsetting. It's just upsetting, man. I don't know. I am definitely trying to walk with, a little bit of what Nipsey was trying to lay out for us and, keep that hustle spirit, you know, pun intended. Keep that spirit with you and build and grow. So I'm just trying to stay motivated and, try to do better business and create more opportunities for myself, so I can hopefully create opportunities for others, like Nipsey was trying to do.
Man. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about him on the situation, but other than like, we got to do better, man. Like, we got to fucking do better because he ain't deserve to go out like that one, and he was too important to be taken like that. And like, hopefully, like you said, hopefully that shit hits other people, and even a little bit influences them to kind of walk the way he walked the walk like he did, and try to be more stand up and real about things that are important. And and I mean, we always got his music, of course. That shit gonna live on forever. And like most people, he gonna be bigger in death as a musician than he was prior in life. Sucks, but that's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, like shit.
Yeah, word to Jadakiss. Dead rappers get the best press. The best publicity.
This one's different. But, I mean, you guys let us know what was your kind of initial reactions and thoughts about the whole Nipsey Hussle situation, and were you a fan before?
What are some of y'all favorite songs? What
For
were you
sure. What are some of your
bumping?
favorite songs, favorite
Nipsey
moments,
joints.
favorite anything from him? What do you think about, the idea of making it big and going back and still being in your, old neighborhoods, stuff like that, and yeah. But other than that, man, the marathon continues.
Marathon continues.
That's it for this week's podcast. The only thing I can kind of talk about before we go is certain new music that has come out. I know Anderson .Paak dropped Ventura.
Anderson needed to come back after Oxnard because he knew that wasn't it.
You still a hater, but that's what it is.
It wasn't it.
Anderson .Paak, I think Khalid is dropping his sophomore project, Free Spirit.
Yeah.
And let me pull up the full list for y'all. All right, for April 12th, Anderson .Paak, Ventura. The Chemical Brothers, No Geography.
Definitely gonna give that one a listen.
LSD, Labyrinth, Sia, and Diplo coming out with the joint little project.
Again?
Yeah, I don't know
that was
exactly if it's a re-release or whatnot or what.
Oh, shit.
Um,
Those mashups are weird. What's it?
BTS, Map of the Soul, Persona. And not a whole lot coming out this week, but other than that, there are a ton of re-releases and reissues and special issues because, like I said, this week is the record store day, and it is going to be a massive one. So you should definitely check that out because there's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out. Too many to list. But on Friday, the Flaming Lips, King's Mouth. And just in case we can't get to them next week, Cage the Elephant is coming out with Social Cues. And yeah, that's pretty much it of noteworthy dropping this week and whatnot. For all the news items, you should definitely head over to the official site and go to our new news section because we are posting new stuff there every day, and there's a ton of obscure and noteworthy news dropping on the regular, some of which we talked about here. But to get those full kind of reports, you should definitely head over and read the fantastic articles that our writers have put together. If you have any questions, comments, or topic suggestions about this show, past show, or any future shows, you should let us know in the comments down below, or you can email us directly at podcast@livinglifefearless.co. Or you can go to livinglifefearless.co/podcast and fill out the form there. And who knows, you might make it into one of our future shows. And if you like any of the gear that we are rocking in these videos, if you are following us, if you're watching us on YouTube or wherever this goes on, like Facebook, you should also go to the official site and go to our shop where you can get some of our new gear, where we just dropped a new t-shirt to go along with our coffee table book. But again, today's date was April 11, 2019, and this was our latest episode of our Music Files podcast, and we will be back shortly with more content and more everything. But until then, we'll catch you guys soon. Thank you guys for joining us. Please subscribe where this goes up. Keep doing what, Doris?
Keep living life fearless, y'all. Till next time.
Till next time. Peace.
Peace, nigga.